Man, since I don't have my two monitors, man.
Hey, how are you the same height when you stand up, bro? I'm just trying to figure this out, man.
Wait, so is his feet dangling then? What's going on?
I'm gonna check and see when he sits back down. He's gonna make sure they don't dangle now.
That's the military issue shoulders, so they just.
How is military issue shoulders now?
You see how your shirt look on you and how my shirt look on me. We got the same size shirt.
Bro, you probably got.
We got the same size shirt. Yours is kind of tight.
Look like you got your daddy's shirt on, man.
Wow, not daddy. So you need to say your older brother.
Why your feet not touching the ground?
Cause I like to have it on the. I like to have it here. I like to have it right here.
You dangling? Your feet dangling, bro?
No, it's not dangling.
Then are they touching the ground?
No, I have it propped up.
I don't think your feet allowed to dangle in your own house, bro. I think that's like a rule.
Bro, it wasn't. And then I put it up more comfortably, like right here. And now he won't talk.
But hold on, Kurt, is you doing this right here, like your feet swinging, or what?
You trying to keep him up?
Are you doing alternating?
Hey, you know he started snapping, man. He started running the place.
Dude, you want some light? You want some more light? We can find you some more light source or not.
I mean, light would be nice, man. I don't want to. If it's a hassle though, man. See, man, that's why I ain't want. You know what?
Everything sounds like a hassle, right?
Yeah,
Dude,
that
side would have made me be like,
I know, right? Holding your back.
Well, because he had to get on the ground. He had to do a landing. He had to stick the landing. Don't get the equity.
Chris has got up holding his back. He got up like,
Bro, you didn't see how he stuck the landing coming off the chair in the back?
Oh man, we're gonna have jokes today.
Charger?
No, I don't even have a place to charge it because I don't think it's long
Kurt,
enough.
You said like this.
Fine, man. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Little bios out here.
Hey man, what's
10 out of 10, baby. 10 out of 10.
Hey man, what's the topics we're talking about, man? Rachel Nichols. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Warmup. I'm here with the guys. It's me, Kris. We got this guy over here, Kurt. Then we have Nuck If You Bucks and Kev RL. Say what's up to the YouTube and to the Spotify and to the Apple Podcast and to the Anchor and to the Google Podcast crowd, guys.
We live, like we big time now. Hi, what's up, everybody? And if you are watching this on YouTube, it's not CGI. Kris and Kurt in the same room.
The dude came down to my city, man, unannounced.
Hey, I came down and hollered. I had to babysit this cat, man. Make sure you do the show right.
Real homies pull up. That's
you know what I'm saying, man? Come and check out my partner, man. That's all it is.
Bro, black people, man, I swear, they don't have no announcements. They just pop up. They ain't bring no potato salad or nothing. So wow. It's all good, though.
You say black people?
That's what he said, man.
Wow.
Anyway, man, if this is your first time rocking with us, this is a place where we talk about sports, current events, and everything else in between through the lens of black culture. Be sure to subscribe to us if you like us. Like us if you like us. Hit the notification bell if you like us. Give us 5 stars if you like us. Man, send some gifts, man. I got an Amazon wish list if y'all like us. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, anything else I need to add?
Hey, like us if you don't like us.
Like us if you don't like us. Tell us, engage with us. Tell us why we whack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
We take all that. We drop every Tuesday. And yes, if you want to do something, man, to help us out, man, tell a friend and tell a friend.
Cash App.
Share with us. Cash App, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't scam us though, because I heard they out here scamming. But other than that, man, I take Bitcoin. I take
Dogecoin.
I take coins. I take coins, Dogecoin. I take pesos.
You gotta go from me. Take pesos.
Yeah, man. I take pesos, man. I take rupees. All that stuff, man.
Run that back. Going too far. Go back. Run that back. One more time. You get canceled, bro. Go ahead. Run that back.
Oh my god.
Oh, this guy. What was that? What was that? I don't know if you did all that, but you put a lot on it, no? Run back the tape. I got the tape. You definitely rolled that R. That wasn't a hard R. That was a roll.
Oh, man. So, anyways, yeah, man, I'm international, man, and don't fire me, man. I heard people out here getting fired. They in hot water these days, and so let's just jump right into it, man. Y'all, if y'all haven't heard now, you heard about it from us, man. Rachel Nichols, hot water, hot mic. Everything went down from a year ago. They held on to it for a year, talking about diversity, how she didn't want to get her job taken and given to Maria Taylor, and coincidentally, NBA Finals pop up this year, a year later, and she wants a little contract extension, Maria, and yeah, man, this thing leaked, and it got a lot of people in their fields, and she's been removed from the NBA Finals as far as coverage, and there's a lot of other details in there, but we're gonna speak on it. Nuck if you buck, man, what did you think about it? Do you think that she was wrong in her statements?
Yeah, wrong. I mean, it was a private conversation at the end of the day. So you can't be wrong in your statements, but I just feel like her assessment was wrong and it's a little bit biased. But it was a private conversation at the end of the day. It was wrong. Wrong is wrong, but people talk behind closed doors.
Okay, all right. What about you, Kurt, over here?
I mean, I feel what Nucky Buck said, man. I think she's talking in private. She's talking to somebody who she considers a friend, obviously, right? And I still hate the fact that we're so focused on the two women, right? Which there should be focused on. But LeBron's PR guy needs a PR guy, right?
Yeah.
Because this guy is saying he's tired of Black Lives Matter, the Me Too movement, right? But nobody's focused on that. Ironically, it's crazy.
Just to get out there and vote.
Exactly. I think I like what you said, man. Her assessment was wrong, but she was venting to somebody, a friend, and she thought she was having this conversation in private. Her thinking was off. It's wild, man.
Cool. I mean, all right. We're gonna just leave that where it's at, Kev, man. What you got?
I don't know what to say, man. I really got a right or wrong verdict on it because the way I see it personally, it's her feelings, and these days I ain't really trying to tell anybody that their feelings are right or wrong. So it's like, if you feel that way, you feel that way. I don't mean the reality matches it, but you feel that way. So at the end of the day, I don't not expect other people.
Mm-hmm.
We typically look to blame, you know what I mean? So if something goes wrong in your life, she's not the first person to look outside of herself to blame. But at the end of the day, she's not going to be the last person to confuse correlation with causation. Just because the pressure is on and all these other things, not necessarily mean it caused what happened. But she correlated the dots how she wanted to do it, so I can't give her wrong for her way of thinking and her method of coming to her conclusion.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way you do, Kev. I'm trying to figure. I listened to this leak multiple times just to kind of like make sure I understood what was being said, and maybe her intent, because to me it sounded like a frustrated person who didn't want to give up something that she worked really, really hard for. And I don't think that was in the intent or in the root of, I don't want this other person to succeed. It was just really more so the fact that I didn't want to give up my job. And,
why is this happening to me?
Yeah. And, maybe fair enough in that small progression of logic, she has a totally valid point. There could have been any job that they gave Maria Taylor the job as covering the NBA Finals. And there's tons of people who are at least 6 analysts, 7. Like there's the halftime show, there's a sideline report, there's an in-game report, there's a post-game to the in-game, there's a post-interview. Like there's all these other positions and opportunities to cover the NBA Finals. And if I just really look at it in the vacuum without really just trying to like put in all of my biases and kind of like what I know or what I feel to be true, then maybe she has a point. I think the diversity issue, which I believe if not all of us, majority of us here have kind of looked and said, okay, like when they talk about diversity and you're not in that group of diversity, you know, inclusion, like if they're saying, oh, we're going to focus on, let's just say we're going to focus on blue-eyed people, all the brown-eyed people, all the hazel-eyed people, they're going to feel some kind of way, especially if you're the CEO or you're a manager, you're trying to move up, or you work really hard to get to a certain place. A lot of times people get very protective of where they are because that's their livelihood. So I mean, I see that she was trying to, I don't know any of her other positions. I know that someone said something like they tried to align what she was saying to some Trump stuff, or that she's a Trump supporter maybe. I don't know.
Nah, that was not a statement. No. She called management a bunch of old white Trump supporters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just knew there was some Trump in there, that someone threw Trump in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I don't know your stance, but
that's also kind of privileged to have something to be defensive of.
Yeah. That too. But I don't know. Like I said, if it was me and someone, you know, if I feel like I worked really hard to get to a position, and someone said, I mean, specifically it was in her contract. If you know, when she talks about it, and when, you know, if it's like in my contract, then, and that's something that I feel like I worked 20 something years, 10, 15 years to get to, and go through all the hoops, you know, her being a woman or, you know, a minority to some degree. Like, yeah, like I would be the same way. Like, yo, this is, you're not taking this from me because
they trying to take her bag, man.
Yeah,
so that's the thing. They trying to take her bag.
They got channels and languages for that.
Channels on what?
I said there's channels and, you know, kind of language to address that.
Yeah.
Contract disputes. That was neither the channel nor the appropriate language.
Well, here's the thing. I think
it was a close conversation. Though.
Yeah, she was talking. She was trying to get advice. You know what I'm saying? She was talking to a friend to get advice to bounce stuff off the wall.
Hey, I know we talked about in pregame. Whatever advice she got in, whatever energy she was putting out there, homie picked up on it, right?
Real quick. Yeah.
So that tells you something. Like you can't. That may not be her intent. Yeah. It may not be her intent, but there was a vibe that was picked
people
up.
People do that sometimes. The people sometimes elevate what you put out without the fact that you really putting out that much energy, but they want to just like, you know, jump on that wagon like, I got your back, and they sometimes elevate your point where you wasn't even all the way there. And I think he may have done that because I feel like she had more gripe with the company. This was an ESPN thing rather than the individual who is diverse.
Yeah.
It's like, it was more like the company doing these things versus here's this diverse person taking my spot. And I feel like, at the end of the day, ESPN has something to say about it. I don't think it was a jab at Maria Taylor.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, some of her whole rant was like based at ESPN, the management, man. Although I just learned something between our pod agenda meeting on Tuesday and now. So I was like, the diversity, I know we were talking about, she's probably trying to connect it to the BLM movement, to George Floyd, all that. Diversity hire, right? As though ESPN doesn't hire black people. So I started looking at it, right? Like NBA Countdown. That's the thing. That's what we were talking about. She wanted to be the host. Bruh. Stuart Scott was like the second host of NBA Countdown. He was black. Okay, all right. Avery Johnson. Dude, I don't know what management was doing with that one, but Avery Johnson somehow managed to be the host. You know who joined him? Magic, Hannah Storm, Kris Broussard. Those are all black people, right? And Rachel's been there for a good minute. So for her to say that, it's kind of, now it made me change my position a little bit, because first I was like, maybe she's connecting this, the environment a year ago. But ESPN's had black people on there hosting. So I can't see her calling Maria like a diversity hire. That's an ignorant statement, right? The other thing is, why can ESPN put both of them on there?
Yeah, that was another thing. That's what I was saying. And I wonder before it got to the point where this leaked out, and then I think Maria was just like, yo, off top, I'm not working. Don't put her on the same set as me. Like, it's done. Maybe that's what they had in mind. Who knows? It didn't develop. It didn't get there. Unless they told her specifically, you're not going to be on the show at all. I think maybe the news she just heard is that Maria's going to be on it. I don't know if they told her you're not going to be on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was speaking as though she wasn't gonna. She was speaking as though her food was getting eaten.
Exactly. That's what it sounded like. And even still, even if you co-hosted it, you go from being on the limelight to we're the limelight.
Yeah,
so either way, I mean, so maybe to some people it's just like it's always been one person. Why gotta be two now?
Yeah.
And sometimes when you are a certain demographic, whether it's being a woman or a person of color, in this case, Maria's the double blind, sometimes people make it seem like, all right, there's only gonna be one woman, so if she gets it, I'm out. Like that's just something that is kind of put on people. So I could kind of see it from that perspective.
That's the thing, man, because here's a question. Would you rather have Jay Williams or Rachel Nichols up there?
Rachel Nichols.
I like Rachel Nichols.
Yeah. Maria, Jalen, and Rachel would have been a powerful... I don't know how Jay Will got the spot, but he's on there. That should be a bigger concern. So,
I'm really surprised to see him up there tonight, actually.
Wow. Okay. All right. So
that's only because of the recent stuff that you brought up, Kurt. But anyway, that's off topic.
he lost his Twitter pass. I don't know. Somebody else is. Hey
man, it's so easy to lose your Twitter password or whatever account. I had to help many people with their password.
You have to understand, he didn't say that he lost it and someone came in and sent this message. He just kind of said he didn't say he lost it. He
didn't say he lost it. Yep.
He just said I changed my password.
He didn't say that. He just said people had access to my account. That's all he said.
Oh yeah. And I've changed. He said I've changed it. He said I've now changed my something like he's moved forward. But I don't know.
How many times we use the same passwords over and over again? Or how many Netflix passwords we then gave out to each other?
So somebody logged in and that's what they wanted to send?
Allegedly.
Right, just say my bad and keep it moving. My bad. Keep it moving.
Yeah. That didn't make any sense.
Yeah. So obviously there's a lot of hot water that Rachel Nichols is boiling in right now, but ESPN is also, in that same kind of hot water because they seem like they mishandled a lot of this timeline, these series of events that have transpired to how this is the conclusion of what's going on. So, how does this make ESPN look? Like, I mean, do they look like they? Is there a way for them to get out of the situation and with their hands clean, or how, damage control? What can they do if they can?
Hands already dirty.
Okay.
Is it? Like, who's talking about them? Besides us right now.
I feel like a lot of people, the people that were there, I think y'all talked about a lady that left the show earlier. I forget her name.
Jamel Hill.
Jamel Hill made it.
Jamel Hill?
No. Y'all said Michelle Beto. I said, Michelle Beto. And
Beto.
I was continuing saying Jamel Hill also put out a statement saying, I told y'all last year when people were making all these statements, don't listen to what these corporations and companies are saying, watch what they do, et cetera, et cetera. I know even, you talked about the pre-planet meeting, we were talking about, the climate or whatever. And my thing is if that was the climate, they could have very easily, when this first came out, even if you don't want to do it publicly, Rachel is just gone for a week. Y'all don't got to say why. Y'all don't got to put out a statement. She needs to be on vacation. Yeah. And, they could have handled that behind the scenes. And if anything would have popped off later down the line, they could easily pull the receipt and say, we handled this internally. We didn't want to make it a bigger deal because, we didn't want to hurt the parties involved and felt like it wouldn't have served the interest. Mm-hmm. And they would have already had a clean slate. Yeah. If there was so much pressure to get it right on racial terms. So this tells me there wasn't that much pressure. They weren't feeling that much pressure. That's what it felt.
Okay. But do you feel like they have pressure now? Or do you feel like they just like, whatever, it's not our problem still?
I feel like, let me rephrase that. The pressure is there. I don't think they feel that pressure. Okay. I still don't think they feel that pressure because, what is the consequence? She came on and said, I'm sorry. I think they stopped one show. It's a daily show, right?
Which one? The Jump or the NBA Countdown or?
The Jump.
The Jump is daily.
The one that she came and did the apology on. Mm-hmm. They stopped one show, she did an apology, and now kept it moving. What was the consequence? Yeah. Besides, I guess he's not on the sideline for whatever reason. I don't know if that was just to finally do something, but it still wasn't like a suspension of any sort or anything like that.
I feel like the punishment is going to be difficult for ESPN, man, because like we said at the beginning, it's still a violation of her privacy. So if Rachel, you suspend me, I sue you for violating my privacy.
Incorrect.
Why?
It's not a violation of her privacy.
How's it not?
She had the system set up remotely. It's something she's not used to
Dude,
She wasn't
the story
it wasn't
said
closed
allegedly.
off, powered off. Miscommunication.
How
It
was-
wasn't whatever you need to do to get the device off. The device was hot mic. That wasn't anybody who put on a camera in a room while she wasn't looking. This is her. It was self-contained. This is during COVID. It wasn't a cameraman put a hole in her wall or nothing. She messed up. She hit the record button.
No,
and
we
it went
don't
onto
know
a
that.
private server.
We don't know that.
Yes,
We
they do
don't
know that.
No, we don't. The article literally says some colleagues think that she did that.
But
Because-
how else could they have gotten the recording?
Well, Kris Broussard and a few others said that even ESPN at the control center, they can turn that system on.
Okay, even if they can, like you can have systems that be turned on that you can make sure are off. You can completely power off the device. Like it's not necessarily a private thing.
So you say
Just like the companies we work. If we decide to put our company, like even if it's your own device, if you decide to share your company with them, they tell you we have rights to all this.
So you saying that simply the state of the device changes it from being a private conversation to being a public one or a company-owned one?
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying this is a self-contained system. This is not somebody else hot mic. This is a self-contained system. Whatever happened there was like she had control over that.
Oh no, it goes to a server in the back at Bristol.
Yeah, that's where the storage is. But I'm talking about the fact that it was recorded. Like it's something that she has control of at the end of the day.
We don't know that. That's a legend. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like you're assuming that she did it, but the story literally says some colleagues think that's what happened, but no one knows.
That's just what they think. But I'm telling you, if you have a device, like right now, you have control over that device, right? Am I wrong or am I right?
Well, we can assume that we have it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's the thing. I think we're assuming that it's a localized device where a person has the ability to turn it on or turn it off without any other autonomy happening. Like you have full autonomy over said device, and I don't know how the devices work. If I've heard some inklings about remote switching as well. I don't know. Again, we don't know because of that allegedness or plausibility that there's a remote trigger as well.
So somebody flipped the switch knowing she was gonna have that conversation to record it.
Well,
It just seems a little bit too.
You don't hot mic. We don't hot mic with knowing something's gonna happen. You hope.
No, but you're saying that this theory relies on the fact that somebody has the ability to turn on the mic. Like this, now we putting a lot of circumstance to it. Like somebody had to know this was gonna happen, flip the switch on. We finally got her. Like it gets.
Not know this was gonna happen. I mean,
but maybe they did it haphazardly,
conversation.
or forgot, or they just did it. Was testing something, and you just happened to do it when she was in the middle of something that was like, ew. It's a little.
I mean, it doesn't sound like she came out and said that.
Yeah, no. So we don't know.
I
We
don't think she can say that at this point. She's trying to save
I don't
face.
think that's a topic. Yeah, that's not a topic of
That's not
discussion.
important.
You can't even go there. If she went there, we would all be down her throat right now. Like, wait, that's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Nah.
I feel like at the end of the day, it was just like when President Trump was out here talking about I grab him by the whatever. Like,
Yeah.
But he
You was
said
in a
that
certain
on the
city-
TV show. Like they were literally
he
recording the
said it
show.
on the TV show while they were not recording.
Yeah,
it.
he was hot
He
mic.
assumed the mic was
Yeah,
off,
he was hot
right?
mic. He was on the bus.
And in this case, he absolutely didn't have full control because usually the producer would come in and do whatever. He had it on and he forgot he had it on.
Yeah.
So it's a similar thing where it's just like, it happens. Now that it's out there, it's out.
Nah, I don't agree with that one because Rachel was having a conversation with one other person on the phone. That I think it was Hollywood Access, right? That show that Trump did. It was him, the host, and other people, other ears. That's not the same thing. You're not having a one-on-one private conversation with a group of people, right? When she was having a one-on-one private conversation in the hotel room, separate from anybody else.
Yeah, but the purpose of a hot mic is that you don't know it's off air. You're not on.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even know it's on.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that. I'm saying there's an extra layer because Trump was around other people.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you're saying
they can come out and say, "Hey, Trump said this."
so instead of Rachel having a one-on-one conversation with someone, if it was 3 other people,
It makes it a bit more. Yeah, it's tough. I think the fact that it was just one-on-one in the hotel, it changes things as opposed to a group on a TV show
Okay.
Well, I
in the
mean,
mission.
it seemed like the two hosts were sitting next to each other, and even if you want to go and we can keep going out with that. Like maybe the person in the next room could have heard her. Like you can keep going on all these tangents if you want to.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like it was a situation where you usually that would be private, but you were in a work setting, in a work type of situation. Very different. This is not just like I was at a hotel and I got hot mic. Like this was a bubble lockdown facility.
She was
like
in the hotel room.
Yeah, but still, like this is not just your run-of-the-mill hotel room. This is the hotel room where all.
I don't understand where you're going. She was in the hotel room. Like there was nothing else.
This was in the bubble though, right?
But in the hotel room.
Yeah. So you saying it's locked down from the standpoint that you was on Disney property.
Yeah, this like everything was a work setting over there. This is not like that's what I'm saying. That's different. Like if you go on a business trip for your job to go in a hotel, you're just out in the world doing business stuff. You were essentially at ESPN. Like you were essentially at work.
I feel what you're saying, but she was in her room. Like there's no business being official. I mean, there's no official business being conducted in her room. You know what I'm saying? No ESPN business. So that's what's.
But that's the thing, though. She was also doing business in the room. That's not.
It was a multi-use space.
That's what the device was there for. If that was the case, why was the device in the room?
Exactly. That's exactly what the device was there.
I feel like if you guys on a business trip, you go check into your room and you send an email. All of a sudden, the whole hotel room is your office. It's official business property.
That's why I made the distinction. Like it wasn't Curtis. You wasn't at the bubble. You couldn't get within 20 feet of the bubble.
Yeah.
So this was not just a hotel. This was the bubble NBA lockdown situation. And she was in the ESPN portion of that situation.
I can see she was in the studio in a public use, a common use area.
Man.
She's in her private room. Like, if that's the case, she shouldn't even be able to change in that private room because it's company space. You know what I'm saying? You have privacy to protect you.
You have privacy in company space. Like, we have changing rooms at my company space. Like, you can do that. Like, at the end of the day,
you not got locker rooms where you at?
I think, Nuck is just saying.
Yeah, we have privacy.
At the same time, she was in a work environment at the same time. It was a multi-use space. It was a unique situation. It was a bubble. It was very unique.
I hear you say
multi-use. They're working from home, railroad houses and all.
Yeah. Within that multi-use, there was a room with a door. She had a key, a bed. That's her private space.
That was paid for by ESPN.
I don't see how, but it's dedicated as your sleeping space.
Okay, so this is how
it's not just your sleeping space though, because she even this is why I lean more towards it being an error on her part, because there was times where she would have to do work from the room using this setup or whatever that is, and that's why my mind went to, and this is just my assumption. Thought the mic was off, or I thought the situation was put off. I was gonna go do my own private thing now. Business off. I'm gonna go do my private thing. And there was something went awry between that.
Yeah.
Whether it was somebody turned it on, whether it was he got turned it off, either way, it's just like we got laptops from our companies to work, right? You might have just, I thought I was on my Mac. I went to go look up a certain kind of website or something like that on my work laptop.
That's completely
different.
You messed up. That's completely different. Because
you see it as different. I hear what you're saying. It is different.
She was on her phone. So you're switching her phone out for a work laptop. So I understand that because you're using like your work's server, your work's laptop, work equipment. She was on her phone, so you're switching out her personal device for a company device.
If you was on a Zoom call at work and you thought you went off the Zoom call or you thought you was on mute and you started having a private conversation. Same thing.
That's what
you're really trying to like make it this narrow thing, but I'm just saying like at the end of the day, like it's a realm of possibility where she may have thought she was in a private situation. She wasn't.
Okay, I just disagree with your private hotel room not being private.
Okay.
And so I see where you're coming from. I can't
understand. I think not saying it is private. It's just it goes on and off from being private to not being private.
Exactly.
I think that's all he's saying. I think he's saying it is private. I think y'all saying agreeing to some extent.
Exactly. I'm not saying like anybody who works at ESPN can just go in their room at any time. I think there's a reasonable expectation of privacy versus public or corporate versus privacy. I'm just saying somehow there was a mishap and those lines got blurred. Yeah. Now it was completely out of her hands because whatever device was on automatically gets put on the cloud. Now it's just you sent you sent to the whole company.
I mean,
now you
once it's
you
out
sitting
there,
like damn.
And that's a reminder of what y'all talking about too, right? The whole thing y'all just are debating about is whether or not it was her fault or was it someone at the company, and should they have come up with it earlier? Mm-hmm. But Kurt, you're saying probably not, because it was a private conversation, and they might not want to come within 2 feet or 6 foot of that situation and just handle it internally. However, like both of y'all are saying, we don't know. Both of y'all are saying the same thing. Mm-hmm. Y'all saying we don't know, and both of y'all giving different scenarios of where it could be one way or the other. So at the end of the day, yeah, it could have been either way. It could have been either way.
And at least being with a question to you, Kurt, what you think about Donna Sterling then?
Because his was, who asked me that?
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what I know.
That was extremely private.
No.
That was completely
off. We just keep
No, here's the thing.
Because that's all it is.
Here's the thing. No,
okay. It's different.
No.
It's not different.
Remind me, my memory's a little fuzzy on that. It is.
Okay.
All right, so he was, what was he at?
He was having a conversation
with his mistress or lady
or
friend.
Someone, yeah, some lady friend, yeah.
And she was recording him unknowingly, like he didn't know he was being recorded. They were having a conversation, and he was complaining about her inviting Magic Johnson, and she was just saying, "Keep your black friends. You can do all this other stuff. Don't bring them to my games." And she leaked that, and that's how everything exploded. Now he's a seedy landlord. He's all these other things.
He's a racist.
Yeah, he's racist. Yeah. But he didn't know he was being recorded.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that now. I know. So on that principle, his privacy was violated.
Okay.
But once
we moved past his privacy was violated, what he said was what he said, and it got out.
Did you go to? Yeah, I'm about to say you go to the context, right? So are you saying that what she said matches what Sterling said?
No, but I'm saying irregardless of context, right? If he didn't want, as an owner, if you don't want somebody at your game, that is your right? We're not gonna sit here and get paid.
No, not at your game. That's no. Not at the game? No.
Well, no.
So he extend his rights to his person to bring people, but it's that at the end of the day, that's his. It was his section or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Okay, section. Yeah.
Magic wasn't just buying the ticket and popping up. She was extending his privilege to have people come in on his.
Like the VIP or yeah.
Or whatever you want to call it.
That's different.
That's his right to be like, whoever I don't want there, to be there.
Yeah, I get it.
We seen it with what's that guy from freaking
New York,
who banned players, like banned popular people fan favorites. So I mean, you have the authority to ban whoever you want from your arenas if you're the owner of the team, or if you own the arena. That's your right to refusal.
He owns MSG. Sterling didn't own.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know how that extends, and even then, if he called the right person and says, "Hey, Staples Center's owner, whoever, I don't want these people here. Like, can we find a way to make that happen?" I'm sure they'll acquiesce to his request.
I don't think they'll be able to get Magic out of there.
I mean,
something like that.
He gonna come to
something like that. I hear what you're saying.
He gonna go to winning teams.
Yeah.
So, man. But I don't know. Maybe you want to say anything else about what ESPN should do?
Ooh, what they should do?
Or I'm sorry, does it make them look bad? Does it make them look bad?
Yeah, because I don't know if you said it or somebody else said they should have handled this last year. Squashed it so they could say when it come out, we already handled it. They did nothing. And they can't say they didn't know because Deadspin did a terrible job of writing an article on this. It was an awful job, man. Oh my God, terrible. But ESPN knew. Deadspin knew. The server, they had it at the server. It spun around ESPN. People were pissed off. Management knew, and they handled it so poorly. Even starting from the fact that it was written in Rachel's contract to be the host, and then they turn around and promise Maria, "Hey, you can be the host."
That was the first mistake.
That was the first one, man. Like
the original sin.
Original sin, and it caused all this. So, but that management's been bad. From hey, people, you can't say anything about politics or anything. Hey, you can say whatever you want, but this is after Jamel Hill had to fall on the sword. They lost Michael Smith. I love that team. They just mishandled a lot of things over the past couple of years. So does it make them look bad? Huh?
Yeah, and for Rachel Nichols, the company that felt pressure, the only person who got punished in all this was a woman of color for sharing the information with Maria.
Giving it to, listen, if I was in her shoes, I would have done the same
I
thing.
don't get that.
If someone was talking ill about Kev, I would have been like, yo, Kev, check this out, bro.
Yeah.
I still don't get that. What's the basis for her punishment? I still don't
I guess
understand
going into the server and said, maybe there's a thing of privacy or something where, business need to know all that corporate stuff.
If you cross some lines to get it, is what you're saying?
I mean, yeah.
Cross some lines.
Well, yeah. All they said
What
is
was
that
the business need to know from Maria? There wasn't a business need to know on her behalf. It was more.
But this thing, we in the security, or we don't have like levels to this stuff. I mean, maybe. Come on, man.
Out of everybody, she's the one.
At the end of the day.
But it sounded like this was already circulating around the office before she sent it to her. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's what the article said.
That's
she got it and sent it to Maria.
Like it was already circulating. It came to her attention. She's like, "Oh, you probably need to know this.
Check this out. They're talking about."
She got fired. Rachel Nichols was on the same time saying, "Oh man, there's all this pressure. They doing whatever the colors want." It's just.
He did not say that.
You say colors.
I paraphrase.
Hey, they running the house now.
Allegedly, that's not a direct quote. She ain't saying it's the my mindset of what her mindset.
Hey, sources say from Jay Will.
Twitter got hacked.
Driving ESPN though. She was driving hard at ESPN though. Like everything it was about ESPN. So it was just so much. I see some news articles like pinning two of them against each other. Rachel against Maria, but I don't know if that's the case. It could be to have some internal friction, but the media is really hyping up this whole head-to-head combat.
They do have friction, but they have friction now. Like I feel like if when she made that statement, if she was just like, how could they take this from me, and then kept it moving, but she didn't know she was gonna get recorded and all this. But like I feel like if she would have just left that Maria part out, she would be golden. But once Maria got that information, now there actually is friction.
Well,
that's where all this like assignment stuff came on, because she was like, I'm not going to be on set with her.
I think when she started talking about, when she threw in the hotline diversity, that's what made people feel triggers, like that make people feel validated that ESPN does things certain ways that are favorable towards certain groups and unfavorable towards other groups. So that's if you even said Maria Taylor and then just left it at that. Now you still have a little bit like you didn't say that, like you didn't say the key word. Now it's all circumstantial.
Yeah. Well, oh jeez, I hate to say his name.
Jason Whitlock.
It does.
Shout out to Jason Whitlock,
our favorite sports commentator.
Fedora man.
This joker said it's a conspiracy that Maria's folks put on, right? So he says that this happened last year. Her contract ends this year, and all the stuff is just coming out now while she's having negotiations with ESPN, right? So he said that she's gaining leverage on this. And he also calls her weak for being worried about what Rachel said. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I'm not commenting on Jason Whitlock. I'll let y'all know when y'all listen to it.
I mean, at the same time, nothing is really impossible, but I wouldn't say conspiracy. I would say that's a strategy. And people play around with information like that all the time. That's not new. Like pick a time when to drop it, even coming down to like music, you know what I mean? The time that stuff. Make it drop when it makes sense. And it makes sense right now, but that's still circumstantial though. I don't know. But it seems like it would line up to benefit her situation.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been smart to, get this in about earlier then.
For ESPN it would have been. Sure.
So,
for ESPN,
So if it's a strategy, it's a strategy that only worked because of the incompetence of ESPN.
It seems like that's easy to play on nowadays, man.
Yeah, I'm talking about Jason Whitlock.
Your favorite guy?
No, we actually never really talked about him.
Oh, okay. I
we just talked on that. Once he said it was a strategy, basically what I just said is if it was a strategy, feel.
Oh, okay.
The other parties in play made it work in the favor.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's how it is, man. That's how chess is.
Yeah.
True.
So,
Your worst opponent is yourself.
ooh,
For real.
okay, that's deep. That's a Kevin line right there, man. Kev, you got anything you wanna add in on this, man? What do you think?
No, man. I've been in the mix.
Okay.
I just, I've been interleaving my lines here and there.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, man. ESPN has been doing some questionable things for years. I'm still mad at how they handled the six with Michael Smith and Jamel Hill.
Yo,
And you know, it's not the first time they've let people go. Paul Pierce for doing his personal business on his day off.
hey, can I ask you a question though?
Uh-huh.
That was a private situation where he kind of made public, but it
He made
wasn't
public.
anything to do with business.
Had nothing to do with business.
Right.
It was 100% his personal
wasn't-
time. He was off.
He ain't disrespect no teammates, nothing like
But
that.
his brand, though, we talked about this. His
Yeah,
brand.
we talked
Yeah.
about that,
Yeah.
but we know, but we also now we got to put in the picture. This is damaging to Rachel's brand.
Oh, her brand is
Bro.
I don't
I
know
would
about
argue.
yeah.
I would argue what is being the context of being taken out, whether she meant to or not. The implication of being racist or whatever you want to call this moment is bigger than okay. He has strippers over at the crib.
And no smoking a cigar
yeah.
He's smoking a cigar, like
legally.
and
Yeah, yeah.
and I've seen a multitude of people coming out here. Oh my God. Like prayers up for Rachel and all this caping within the show, outside of the show.
Mm-hmm.
People are just like,
I ain't heard nothing from Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce,
bro.
you out of pocket, bro. Like,
Yeah.
like some people said, like, okay, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I didn't hear it, especially within the building, like those other co-hosts that sat down and, let's have a talk and all this stuff. It wasn't really much of all that for Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
Because many
Nah.
people feel the way she feels. You have to understand. Everybody ain't out there saying, let me get a cigar and roll with some strippers and be wild. But there's a lot of people out there feeling all kind of ways when we bring up what we bring up. We
You're
know
right,
this.
but-
This
you're
is
right.
not a secret. Whenever we bring up anything with diversity, anything with BLM, they have some kind of way of just getting like, why are you talking about it? They were telling us just play basketball.
You're right, but I was referring to people who look more like us, not like her. When I said people in the building sitting down with her and, like, we know you and we know your character and doing all that stuff, that they ain't look like her.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember
Right.
Kendrick Perkins kind of was trying to.
Hey, I wasn't going to say names. 'cause
No. He
The
put it
vibe
out there.
said-
He put it out there. It was him. And I mean, I'm not knocking it. Do what you feel is best. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think she did a like such an egregious transgression.
Yeah.
Like she just,
Neither me.
she said how she
Neither me.
felt in closed doors. She was a little loose with it. She didn't know she was mic'd up. All these things kind of felt unfavorably for her. I don't think like she's a horrible person or anything like that. But
Not at all.
I do understand that, like, with all that said, we know she addressed it on the show.
Mm-hmm.
People responded on the show. Kendrick Perkins is a part of that, and I think he had a what do you call it? The club. What's that new one that this one
Clubhouse or
Clubhouse? Yeah.
Yeah,
He
a
was on
fan was
Clubhouse.
asking him. Yeah, she got into him too.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
mean, he doubled down on it there in the clubhouse. So I mean, I'm not even knocking him, but I'm just saying, like, but I do think it's a little bit different because Paul Pierce situation, they didn't have a chance to address it because he was fired. It happened like it dropped on a Saturday, on Monday.
I had to do like.
Come get your
But
box.
let's talk about it. Why is it with Rachel that we get a year to start having dialogue about it? With Paul Pierce, is immediately you out of here.
It's all about what hits the public. So the difference between those two is how fast ESPN moves based on when the public gets their ears on it.
Okay.
And the public was talking nonsense. They were even talking about ESPN was slow about taking action on Paul Pierce. I was like,
Oh.
what? How you mean slow?
But he didn't make it back onto the set again after that.
No, he
Dude
didn't.
was
And
gone.
they were really out for him, man. Like that's the thing that Rachel was kind of alluding to. A lot of movements are made based on the pressures of the outside, and
Yeah.
like it's just a fact of how things are ran.
I would say Paul Pierce's his
Fun
sports
night.
his fun night. His
analytics.
analytics are.
Is it worse than Jay Will's?
Jay Will didn't say he's better than D Wade. I guess what I'm looking at too is the impact of each person to the show, which it shouldn't be a consideration. You should, yeah, he did that in his private time. That should have been a discussion. That he should have had a process. He was robbed of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Paul Pierce's contribution to ESPN compared to Rachel Nichols' contribution to ESPN, the impact.
Come on now. We know.
Whoa. You gotta slow your roll now. Because on an analytical level, as a sportscaster, as a professional, 100%. But he's the truth at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, yeah.
Bro, you can't knock that. You can't take that away from him.
No.
No, I'm not even being funny. I'm saying like he was a former basketball player, like
What does
former
that
champion.
mean? What does that mean?
Huh?
What does that mean?
A lot.
Just because you
Are
play
you
the game
serious?
don't mean you can necessarily articulate it to people.
Are you serious
I'm
right
serious, yeah.
now? TNT.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
TNT.
So
You got Chuck. Shaq
Chuck is
Diesel.
good and they're gifted, but that doesn't mean Magic Johnson did not work out
That
as
don't mean
an
you can't. That
analyst.
don't mean it.
No, but I'm
it's a
saying,
given.
do you think if you take 3 other talking heads, you would have the impact that TNT show has? Being former basketball player legends
Did you not hear what I said
brings
though?
a lot to the
Magic Johnson is not an analyst because he was terrible at that job. He was
No.
awful.
But I mean, Chuck's not the greatest analyst either. Like,
Chuck is he's charismatic. He captures your attention.
okay, and the same thing with Paul Pierce. We saying the same thing, bro.
We're not saying the same thing. We're not. I don't
Nah,
think-
not this time.
No,
I
Chuck
feel like all
holds
night
down
y'all
that
saying the
show.
same thing.
Paul Pierce is not holding down the show. Is
He's
what I'm
not.
saying. Nah.
He's not.
Okay.
But that's why you pair Ernie with other guys. Like you pair these people together. And I'm saying the drawing of people who are just like, I watched Paul Pierce, like I was a Celtics fan. They're just gonna watch just to watch and see him. That's what I'm saying. Like there's a draw. There's a reason they pay them as much as people who've been sitting there
That's
like
valid.
all this time. Like Stephen A's been bubbling, grinding, working, da. You can have a former athlete come off the
Yeah.
bench,
Yeah.
making more money than all of them.
Keenan
Is-
Johnson.
You can,
We
but
care what he has to say. That's why we care what he has to
Yes.
say.
Why do you care what Stephen A. Smith has to say unless you're a basketball, like, you know,
Exactly.
real hardcore fan and you're like, oh yeah, his takes over this year, he built up a rapport to the casual fan. It's like, oh, that's Paul Pierce.
Yeah,
Let me see what he has to say.
You're paying for the celebrity, right?
Yes.
They're paying for that initially. But
Yeah.
sometimes that doesn't work out. There's been several celebrities that come on and flamed out because
They
True.
were
they
just
weren't
trying- I
good
hear
at
what you're
that
saying.
game. It's an entirely different game. That's what I'm
I
trying to
hear
say. Yeah. So
Okay.
I think back to my original statement, I don't think Paul Pierce's impact on ESPN was as high as Rachel Nichols.
I
don't
will
know
say
that.
this. I think because Rachel Nichols has been around for a while, she's garnered the cachet internally with ESPN to get certain shows. She's actually been successful at that stuff. So that's the reason why she's in those positions. Paul Pierce played for 13 years,
Yeah.
16 years, I forget.
Yeah.
And you know, running championship, you know what I'm saying, has one of the better nicknames out of the 2000s,
Maybe
99
the
and
best.
2000s.
Yeah. He could compete for best all time.
No,
he can compete.
no. Slim Reaper is still good.
Sound like
Really
King
King James is still good. Durantula, you know what I'm saying?
Babyface assassin.
Yeah, babyface
you're right,
assassin.
you're
But
right,
you
you're
know, he beat White Mamba.
The big ticket.
Actually,
When
it's
are we
better
gonna have a
than
real White Iverson? That's the real question.
a White Iverson. I don't know. You know what? Jason Williams came after Iverson. He probably be called White Iverson. But he's called White Chocolate. So
Yeah.
it's all good. But you know what I'm saying? You know, but Paul Pierce actually came with some, yes, a little bit of celebrityism. But he's also been able to maintain. You know, he probably said some stuff that people be like, bro, like, really?
Which
Him and
brains
Trisha and
fans?
Trisha McGrady.
Which
Yeah.
brains fans?
Yeah.
But T-Mac's the same way. He don't have no charisma. He's not doing anything spectacular. The dudes still got the same baggy suits on. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, whatever. So
Sometimes people, like, it's a skill to be somebody who's famous and they can trash talk about you.
yeah.
Like, oh, y'all saw what Paul Pierce said? Like, they're gonna watch again to see, like, just that's the draw. Just
I don't
like
know
Charles
if it's a
Barkley.
draw. I don't know if I call it a skill, but it's
Not
definitely
a
a draw.
skill, but I'm saying like it's a it's a benefit. It's a factor. It's a benefit.
It's a factor for sure.
The same thing. That's why we watch Chuck. Like, I think he's pretty good with the sports analysis, but at the end of the day, I want to see the silly shit. That's
You wanna
really
be
what it is. Yeah. Okay. And Jay Williams, I'm gonna come to his defense. I'll say he's a terrible analyst. I don't know if he's a terrible analyst. Basketball historian, okay, you can say he's terrible.
Good distinction.
First head coach of color ever, like. Okay, but in terms of like watching the sport today, and then giving his opinions and take, I don't think he's that bad.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's move on. You got something last thing?
I was about to say about we forgot Jay Will and the Kevin Durant thing. I knew it was something else. That conversation. I mean, but
See
hey,
what I'm saying, man? He's trapped in the moment, man. You're a prisoner of the moment. You keep holding on to that one thing, man. Let it go.
That's two things.
Let it go.
For the record.
You know what I'm saying? Let it go. You hold on to the bubble, the bust.
Undefeated in the bubble. Where they at in the championship?
The bubble, the bust.
Up 2-0.
The bubble,
they're undefeated in the championship too.
Let's wait and see what happens.
Thank you.
I'm not talking about it right now.
In the first two games, they're undefeated.
You know what? I'm not even listening to this. We moving on.
I want my receipts on that. I called Phoenix undefeated bubble.
Yeah.
Y'all laughed at it.
Yeah. Nah, dude. I still go for Phoenix. I call those
everybody
My dog
collectively
horse was
said that Phoenix is gonna be a good team. Everybody said it.
We
just know that 8 games is a small sample size.
Yeah, that's all we said. We also
Kurt, do you know if they play 6 more games than the ones they already played in the series, they'll play as many games as they did in the bubble?
Dude, there were only 8 seeding games in the bubble. Like, they won 100% of the games available in the bubble.
They've already played as many games in the bubble as they are right now.
You guys keep underestimating the bubble, man. But there was bubble magic.
Hey, man.
Bubble magic.
Hey, you got your TJ Warren jersey or no?
Who? Why are you talking about TJ like that, man?
Oh my God, you are so right about the prison of the moment, because y'all gonna have to play the clip from my early episodes in the book. Oh, TJ Warren.
Okay, are you guys? So what he got injured this season, man. He was in the bubble MVP, man.
You said who? You just said you didn't say, MVP, he's injured. That's not a reflection of his skill set. You said who? You already forgot. You out your mind.
I had a Paul Pierce moment. I'm better than Dwayne Wade.
Jay Williams moment.
I'm better than Dwayne Wade. Yeah, you're right.
Hey, man.
A lot of people have access to my password.
Prisoner of the moment, man. I swear. So let's move on, man. We dug deep in those trenches, man. Let's get out of that, man. Let's move on to something real quick, man. The NBA Finals is upon us. We're seeing the Suns and we're seeing the Bucks, who haven't been collectively over like 50 years or so in the finals. Like, this is the first time. I think the last time the Bucks was even close to this was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and then the Phoenix Suns.
93.
Barkley. Yeah, Kevin Johnson and KJ Dan Marley. I know Nuckety Buck don't know anything about those players, but it's okay. They're really good players. Kevin Johnson is the governor, I think, or mayor of Sacramento.
Dan Marley, we don't know where he's at.
Yeah, we don't know where he's at. He's out. He's living in the Bahamas. Yeah, man. Charles Barkley, you know about Charles Barkley, but he's also this one he had the season MVP. Yeah. A little bit of history lesson for you, man. But yeah, man, that was the last time he was in the finals. But yeah, man, it's been a long time coming, man. So it's really good to see that Chris Paul, for the first time in his career, is in the finals. We have Giannis, who's looking to make a big impact as well, and Devin Booker and some of the other guys. Jay Crowder finds ways to make it to the finals every time. or very deep.
Hey, he's a solid player, man.
He is.
So
major contributor to each effort.
Yeah. So we're here, man. What are y'all thoughts so far? What do y'all think? That's what I want to ask. Giannis, y'all think this dude has too much of a burden? He's gonna have an uphill battle. It's gonna be too much for him. Y'all think it's gonna be too much for him to actually overcome this young Phoenix team led by the 30-something-year-old Chris Paul, who has avoided injuries so far, for the most part.
Don't talk about it.
So y'all think it's too much for Giannis to carry, man? His young shoulders.
I think they just can't seem to click all at the same time. You have a game where Lopez goes off. You have a game where Middleton goes off. You have a game where Giannis, tonight I think he scored 42.
Yeah.
But they just can't do it at the same time.
I think it's not on his shoulders. I think he's doing his job right now to some degree, and it's on Middleton to step up. He didn't play well in game 2, and Drew Holiday got to continue doing what he's doing, be aggressive. He didn't knock some ones down in game 2, but yeah, man, it's not on his shoulders. I think he's actually performing right now, and not all the way there. This game 2, yes, but definitely it's not all on his shoulders. Those other 2 guys got to step up. This should be the load.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to what I said before, man, and you guys laughed at me for this statement, man. The worst thing that happened in the Bucks,
Winning.
Why? Because Mike's still the coach there, man. He should be in a different system, man, because we know the dude doesn't change his game plan. The only he had to change for those last 2 games in Atlanta because he was missing Giannis. And that was beautiful basketball. Everybody felt involved. When you get the ball, you do more defensive end. You set these screens. You do what you have to do. And Giannis coming back, not his fault, but he gets the ball. If he's in the paint, he doesn't have a clear lane to the goal. He's dribbling. He's gonna work that shoulder into your chest, bowl you over, try to lay it up a dunk, right? Or he might come off a screen and go straight to the basket. Those are like his only 2 moves. Now,
Maybe Euro steps too. He do the side steps a lot. He do that a ton actually.
Driving, yeah, get there. But I think, man, if he had another coach, man, the Bucks have all. Because I was scared when Giannis was out the last 2 games. I didn't think the Bucks had enough offensive power to beat Atlanta. Brook Lopez, 30-30. You know what I'm saying? Middleton plays better. It's like an unlocks Holiday. And I'm not saying this because of Giannis. It's just how they use Giannis, right? Because he has the ball, the offense stops. So that's on the coach. That's on the coach to come up with new schemes to unlock, to put all these pieces together and make it work. They did it through the regular season, but the playoffs, when people have time to analyze your game and they realize, oh, Coach Mike only has one play, one scheme, really. Not one play, but one scheme. It's easy to crack down on that, man, especially when you have the talent that Phoenix has.
Do you think with their playoff success, the organization is going to kind of feel like, damn, we need to bring Budenholzer back next season too?
I think so, man, because it's tough. Like, you fired a dude, he took you to the championship. That's kind of tough. But Toronto fired Casey after he won Coach of the Year, and look what happened to them. If you have the right guy in the wings somewhere, yes. But just to fire him without knowing who you're going to bring in, you got to bring in somebody better. Don't fire him just to fire him.
They got to patch the gap with whatever they recognize now to be the issue. If it's him, they got to realize, okay, it's him because he's not properly using them. Who can properly use them, and in what way? And they got to interview in such a way where, hey, tell me how you're going to use these guys. So they got to know what they want moving forward before they just drop him.
Yeah, and let's not wish that the guy loses his job, but he needs to change his playing style. If that means bringing in another assistant coach, that means the front office putting pressure on him to make him do it. That needs to change. However that happens, it happens.
Do we see head coaches change their playing style?
Not in the middle of the season. They may change up their scheme day to day or opponent to opponent, but whatever you schemed in the beginning as your philosophy is how you.
That's what I was gonna say. This is more than just schemes. It's kind of like we're talking about philosophies. It seems like.
Well, yeah, it's the philosophies, yeah.
So it seems like in those situations you just need a different person because you can't really change somebody in their philosophy. Like by the time they done became head coach,
not
they've
necessarily.
already.
That's not true.
Okay.
You can change your philosophy. We've seen Pop do it.
That's the name I came up with.
We've seen him go from I don't want to shoot no threes to we all shooting threes. Like we've seen it being from inside out to hey, let's move the ball a little bit more freely. If you ain't got nothing to do with the ball that's gonna attack, you get the ball out your hands. Like it was.
Who made that change though?
Pop.
It was
The
Pop.
game.
But did you think someone forced Pop to make that change?
No, I think
Exactly.
I think no, but his personnel changed obviously, right? So if you have two dominant centers or powerful like big men, you're going to play inside out. That makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
If you have people who are very skilled in transition and very good at like hitting perimeter shots, you're going to cater towards their skill set, and you should, as a coach, you should take whoever you got, build a scheme that fits that. A lot of times what people do is, oh, I came through the ranks on defense, so all I'm going to do is reinforce defense, or I become really good at offense, and I have this very like innovational like offensive scheme, and I'm just going to push that. Don Nelson for one, D'Antoni for two, for defense, Mike Brown, Thibodeau, Doc
What about
Rivers. Phil was a philosopher but I think he was a moderator of egos. He took people who had really big egos, mainly Jordan. He taught Jordan how to trust his teammates, and said, hey, if you don't trust your teammates, you will never win. Versus Brett Brown, I think it was Brett Brown. What's the guy was his coach before him?
Doug Collins.
I'm sorry. Doug Collins was like, give Jordan the ball.
And move out the way.
What's the play? Give Jordan the ball, everyone get rebounds.
Yeah.
That's why he was scoring a lot and they were losing a lot. Like they couldn't go nowhere. So there's a lot of with at least with Phil, he was able to just say, okay, I need you to change the way you think about basketball. We know you are great at scoring. I need you to learn how to look at a situation game by game and figure out what you need to do, what you're going to need to provide. Same for LeBron. LeBron does it too, but more independently. Kobe does it as well, but Kobe does it more of a like I'm so tired of you guys failing. I'm gonna just do it for you.
Do it myself.
But they talked about like there was a time when he would really be more aggressive. Like he didn't want to peak too early and get gas, so he would kind of like third quarter something like
he
that.
He would pace himself. Same for Dame. Dame does the same thing. In fact, that's why he got the nickname fourth quarter Dame. Like the dude would not score until the fourth quarter. But he also had like Marcus Aldridge. He had Nicholas Batum at the time when he wanted to play basketball. And he just had players who just, he was surrounded with to where like they'll do 3/4 of the lifting. He just come in and facilitate. Fourth quarter, we down by 10. All right, well let me turn it on. And he just kind of saves himself. I think coaches, the great coaches, have the ability to adapt to year to year based on their personality
and game to game though. I think that's more of the. I feel like this is more of the issue of Budenholzer. I think what you were talking about with Pop, that's more so the game change, his personnel change, and he was just like, okay, this is how we're going to maximize our efforts. I feel like with Budenholzer, like it is working regular season. They seeded very highly. So he's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what I'm used to. This is how we're going to go. And then when playoffs, when people are making adjustments on a day-to-day, rotations on a day-to-day, taking this one out the lineup, putting this one, sitting this one out, this one doesn't play today. He's just like, okay, this worked in regular season. And I don't see what the adjustments is. And that's kind of like
I think
I see.
Yeah, I think some of it. I think you see some of the adjustments on the defensive end, but not so much on the offensive end. And obviously, that's day to day, but like not half to half, not quarter to quarter. So like for example, we've seen where, in multiple series this postseason, where it'll be like, why is this guy going off? Why aren't you not putting Giannis on him? And then Giannis goes and says, I went to guard him. I went to guard the best shooter. You should have been guarding the best shooter. He was going off for freaking 20 points in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah.
The system, I know a lot of people say that. I've been looking at it because, we talk about Drew not shutting down, making the Chris Paul work or whatever. But the Bucks have this weird thing, man, where they switch for no reason.
That too. Or go under for no reason.
No, yeah. So Drew is an excellent defender, but he can't defend in that system because he's only defending the guy for like a couple of seconds, and he's like, I got to switch. Yeah. Because this guy, then it's not even a pick, it's a slip.
Yeah.
So that's back on Buck.
Yeah.
Also, they talk about Antetokounmpo and the way that he plays. Like when he's playing, he plays very hard.
He does.
Like he's putting all the effort in every play. Like so that to have him guard the defender the shooter that's going off, you got to take that into account on, how effective he can play throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
How many minutes you want him to play and how effective you want him in those minutes. Because he's giving you 110%, he's gonna be gassed.
Yeah.
And you see it.
And you see
every
it.
game he be getting gassed.
Yeah. So.
Especially that net series chasing Durant.
Yeah. So real quick, man. I know we're gonna skip a little bit. I'm not gonna hit everyone for their own opinions, but real quick, Kev, MVP, man. You got one already for the finals? Who your prediction?
Man, CP3, man. CP3 all day. You already know what house I'm in.
Okay. He said he was your all-star. You got someone?
CP3 Phoenix wins. The Bucks, it's nobody but Giannis.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It was anti-MVP.
This is gonna be very anticlimactic because I already said Giannis pregame. Giannis is the Bucks winning, and if it's the Phoenix Suns, it has to be CP3. I scan the field. Devin Booker,
no one's gonna
great player, but it's not as consistent as the production you see from CP3. Like, he has his fingerprints on the game, whether he's scoring the most or scoring a lot or not. He has his fingerprints on the game. Like, it's nobody else but him.
No one's gonna put in Jay Crowder for shutting down Giannis.
I did.
He scored 42 points tonight.
Yeah,
and a loss.
He shut down.
He did enough to make him lose.
It wasn't a shutdown. He didn't enough.
Hold on.
He didn't do enough because the other players didn't step up. We talked about Middleton with 11 points. So it wasn't enough that he had 42. That was too much.
That's because
that's not a good job. That's not being fooled by the win.
If you told me he shut down Middleton, I would have been all right. He shut down the guy who had 40. Nobody else was anywhere close to 42.
And he dominated in the third.
Okay.
Dominated.
Okay.
That was
like. I just know when we were when the finals in 2014 was over.
I knew it was coming.
Andre Iguodala got the MVP.
But if you look at the same finals, you couldn't say Steph.
Yeah, Steph had a bad game.
Clay, we couldn't.
It's not even a game. It goes off the whole series.
Yeah, series.
You couldn't say
That's
Steph.
what I meant to say. Clay.
You couldn't say Clay.
Okay, I'm just posing.
Draymond.
I'm just posing an alternative.
Yeah. And it's not like
I like it.
Yeah, even though we didn't say that Curry was like, we said we kind of whatever, but if you look at the rest of the team, it was just the way they were moving the ball. You couldn't say it was that guy.
One person, yeah.
So it made sense that they were like, well, who affected the game the most? The guy who held LeBron down.
And he hit some key shots. He
he does, 50-50.
And he was still contributing on offense. Yeah, hitting big 3-pointers, dunking.
I would let him shoot every time.
Yeah, he was.
I would let him shoot every time. But that's fine. That's just
in that series. In that series, though, you're right.
Yeah.
But in that series, he was hitting.
Yeah. He was, but he wasn't like he was. I think he was shooting his average. But yeah,
no, that's the right call. You let the weakest shooter shoot. He was hot.
He was making them.
Yeah, it was the right call.
Same thing with Draymond. Like, we were in that same series. When Draymond was wide open, he was making them.
And he has
the shots like he was at that time. No. So, like, it was the right decision. It just didn't work out.
I feel you, man.
After that season, he caught the Markelle Fultz.
Wow.
He
okay.
did,
and on that note, we're
gonna
wrap this up before he says something more ridiculous. All right, man. Well, let's go ahead and kill this, man. Kurt, man, I'll let you go first.
Hey, man, it's a good show. Got to do it down here with the homie Kris, man. Once again, good seeing the fellas. And hey, you like us, you hate us, subscribe, tell us what's up.
Definitely. Nuck if you bucks. What you got?
And then thanks for sticking with us, watching us. I know there was Kris and Kurt today. It was good to see them together in the same building. Hopefully, we can get us all situated.
We got to do a show like that.
This pandemic is over, but follow us, like, subscribe, hit us on the YouTube, the Spotify. We should say we was on
Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts,
all that good stuff.
Anchor,
Napster.
Probably,
Reddit.
man. Hopefully, if you're gonna steal it, at least share it.
Yeah. Hey, for real.
So yeah, all that, man. Yeah, definitely check us out. Description. The links are in the description box of each platform. So if you don't know where to check us out on the other side, look in the description. All right, Kev, man, what you got, man?
Yeah, man, those guys don't touch on all of the highlights, all the good points. Big up to Kris for giving us and getting us live on all these platforms. And y'all working nice together over there. I see y'all playing off of one another and stuff, you know. So check out Kris and Kurt. Y'all should do a solo show, a duo.
We argue 24/7. They got
That'd
enough
be
of that
fun.
out there.
Bro, his
Yeah,
shoulders
that'd be
is too
fun.
big anyway, so I don't like it.
But appreciate y'all time, man. We know y'all can spend it somewhere else. So like it when y'all spend it with us. You already know. Have a good night.
Cool.
Peace.
And this is Kris. All that stuff, man. I'm not gonna add any more to that, but yeah, just tell a friend and tell a friend. Y'all already heard us before from the beginning, and if you haven't, then skip back to the beginning. I'm not doing it again. So yeah, on that note, man, we'll let everyone go, man. Y'all have a blessed night, and everyone else, man, peace.
Peace.